Quick cold open by me, Brian, on this episode to ask you guys, all of our dear listeners following us here on Spotify. There's a lot of you. We can see that number. You can't see it, but we can. If every single one of you guys that follow us here on Spotify followed us on Instagram, it would greatly increase our strength as a promotional entity, help us out more than you could even imagine, and just accelerate our progress in building this podcast. So all of you guys here on Spotify, go to fucking Instagram and follow us. If you don't have an account, make a dummy account. Only follow us. Just follow us on Instagram. It'll help us a lot. Thank you, Spotify people. You guys are amazing. If you're here from TikTok, you're awesome. If you're here from fucking wherever the fuck, hell yeah, welcome. Thank you. You're awesome. Okay, here's the episode. Bye-bye.
Welcome to the Boston Art Podcast,
Boston's premier art podcast,
where we talk art, culture, and philosophy.
I'm Brian Huntress.
And I'm Theodora Earthworms.
Here is the show.
All right, to recap, we just said that we don't really want to record right now because we're kind of hungry. But then we said we could just pause and eat if we get too hungry to keep going.
So we're going to do that.
We haven't recorded in like a month. We didn't tell you guys, but we took about a month and a half off.
Yeah, we did this thing where we just recorded a shit ton of episodes in like 2 weeks, like 3 a day, and then we just took a break.
You know what's funny is I think we said this same thing in a previous episode where
Don't tell the listeners.
We took another different break. It's really hard to interview people like a lot. It's really hard to do a lot of them.
It's really rewarding to do it. But
yeah.
This trunk is so weird. Look at it.
Oh yeah, we're in the middle of Wampatuck State Forest. Yeah, it's pretty beautiful.
It's the same piece. This one that's natural is connected to this stumpy part that's not natural.
It looks like someone might have scraped all the bark off of that part of it.
But why is it bigger than that one? They're connected.
Maybe
it grew out of that one. That would be weird.
Well, what are the odds that it isn't part of the same log, but they're just pressed together like that?
Oh, yeah. Maybe someone ran them together.
Bastards.
Wish you guys could see. It's pretty sick.
Yeah, it looks like a nice brown with a interesting cold green moss all over it.
Yeah, it's got some like wrinkles where it's bent too. It's kind of fleshy looking.
Yeah.
Cool tree.
Very
10 out of 10.
Kind of figurative.
Yeah. Whoever made that tree did a good job.
We have skateboards and scooters now. That's part of the podcast.
Just one of each.
Welcome to the Boston Scooter Podcast.
Welcome to the Boston Scooter Podcast. I am your host, Hourglass.
No, he always, you know what Ira Glass is really good at is like really clean and clever cold opens.
Oh shit.
Where he's like, so I was talking to a lumberjack in the Northwest Pacific, blah, 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 blah. And it's like really clever and funny. And he like talks about some like random thing for like 10 minutes with an unknown person. And then they go, and that's what this week's episode is about.
That's nice.
Love and fear and investigate. I don't know what the fuck.
That's really different from how our podcasts start. Every single time you're like, all right, I'm going. And I'm like, you're going? And you're like, yeah, we have to pee. And then we start talking.
Podcasting is a really cool art form because it isn't really an art form. Like it's more of like a vessel for all types of art forms. It's like saying filming. It's like considering video an art form.
Yeah.
Which it is.
But it's such a broad categorization. You can kind of do a lot with it. Oh,
yeah.
Can we go down this hill?
Yeah, let's go down the hill.
All right.
Scooter, skateboard, hill, bomb, podcast.
Woo! Watch out for sticks.
Watch for sticks. It's another ambient episode.
Yeah.
Kind of like it's not that deep.
Oh my god, somebody put
Oh, acorns, look out. Sick ollie.
That's cool. So now that we've shaken off about 50 listeners.
Yeah. True fans only at this point.
Hi, Trevor.
What's up, Trevor? Congrats on the new Bullpup single.
Yeah.
Friend of the podcast, Bullpup. Album out soon, probably. They've been really very slowly and what seems to me to be very carefully and methodically promoting their upcoming release.
Yeah, they're doing a real good job.
It's almost as if they probably have like a very admirable and carefully planned schedule.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people do that or think to do that. We
don't really do that.
Well, I was like, I follow a lot of TikTok accounts that are like people who, when did I hand you that? The recorder.
Like 2 seconds ago.
People, I've been following a lot of accounts that are basically like social media strategy people that are like all interested in promoting things. Is that one of Twyla's hairs on my shirt?
I don't know if it's Twyla or Milo. It's orange.
Same colors.
Yeah. Makes more sense for it to be Twyla.
But one of them was talking about Lil Nas and his recent release, and they made this really interesting observation that Lil Nas, since his album release, which in between now and then, which is like about like 2 weeks or something,
yeah,
he had really posted over 150 TikToks promoting his album.
That's really wise.
150 posts within like less than a month promoting one project in 150 different creative ways.
That was for Montero?
What's up?
That was for Montero?
I believe so. I'm not really up to date on his like actual music releases, but just like thinking about the way he promoted that.
The one that just came out.
That's like legendary dedication to the actual promotional aspect of it.
It was also really creative promotion too. A lot of it was like memes, and he did a pregnancy announcement, and he had a prosthetic tummy.
Yeah, he had the fake pregnancy. Yeah, see?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because like Lil Nas X is, I feel like, a really good example where I feel like there's like a new type of personal brand promotional thing happening in the world where you could consider Lil Nas X in the category of the Paul brothers or other like viral meme people, where they are harnessing the power of virality in shocking and ridiculous and comedic ways. But I feel like Lil Nas X is kind of like a white magic version of that, where he like isn't a bad person.
Yeah.
Like he isn't using like bad guy shock value stuff like Jake Paul and Logan Paul have done in the past, but Lil Nas X is more of like, he is an LGBT icon, obviously, and is just a general good person.
Yeah. He posted a video too on TikTok, like somewhat recently, a couple weeks ago maybe, where it was just him talking to the camera, and it was before Old Town Road blew up.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, I'm just letting you guys know that I'm gonna be famous like this time next year, and he reposted it. It was from like October of 2019 or something.
That's so sick.
Yeah.
We should make a video like that.
Yeah.
Where we say we're going to be in the top 10 Apple podcast chart this time next year.
And we'll post it next year, and we'll have like 100 more listeners. And we'll be like,
yeah, we have 100 more people. Or like we like don't even do the podcast anymore.
We have a new podcast, a new project.
Yeah, I think it'd be really cool making an episode that's exclusively about promotional stuff in that respect, because I know that Trevor and Bullpup generally are practitioners of that.
We should do that. It would be really interesting to talk to a couple different people and compare the ways that they go about it.
Because I have known many people over the years that are very interested in like marketing theory, and I've known some people that have done it in extraordinary ways. I've known people that have done it in completely mediocre ways, and people who have done it in like borderline evil, unethical ways. There's a lot of ways to promote.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There are a lot of wrong ways. There are a lot of, like, it's one of those things where it's simultaneously there are wrong ways to do it, and there are also no rules.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
Well, I think when you're talking about shock value, I think that's where a lot of that unethical stuff comes in. Like either trying to make yourself look like something you're not in a way that is trying to garner other people's jealousy or negative emotion.
FOMO manufacturing.
Yeah,
creating FOMO in others.
That I think everybody does to an extent. Like, listen to my project, it's really dope. Like, you're missing out if you're not. But if you're doing that in a way where it's like, you're a piece of shit and I'm not, I'm cool, follow me.
Yeah,
that's kind of shitty.
Like, if you weren't at this show, you fucked up. Like that, I feel like there's a little bit of innocence to it.
Yeah.
But being like I'm here, you're not, you can never do this or something.
Yeah.
Or I don't know.
Born different.
Built different. Yeah. Like, I feel like I've been kind of dabbling in a little bit of that kind of mentality in a satirical way on TikTok, where I've just been like, I made a video recently where I was just like, fuck you guys all fucking suck, I'm the best in the world. And I'm like, obviously not, and I don't believe that.
With the comments though.
But yeah, the idea was that some people would take me serious. 50% of people would completely believe me and think that I'm some dumb asshole that thinks I'm better than everyone else, and the other half of people would think it was really funny and like be in on the joke.
I liked that one comment from that guy who was in like his 60s or something that was like, maybe someday, kid. Haha, I'm the best.
Yeah, see, comments like that, it's just like, hell yeah, that there's a person that got the joke and made, you know, chided me back in a not evil and hurtful way.
I also really like, no, you are not, Brian.
It's
People
kind of
on TikTok replying to you with a first name basis, people that are just randoms from the internet, is like, I love reading Brian's TikTok comments. This is the Brian's TikTok comment podcast now. We've done this like a bunch of episodes.
The Boston TikTok comment post.
Yeah.
Post.
we
should stop saying podcast and start saying post.
Post.
P-O-S-T.
Pod.
Boston Post.
Podast.
Boss past.
Bosscast. Bosscast.
Bosscast. There's probably one day going to be a terrible podcast from Boston that uses that name and like makes like 3 episodes and then quits.
We should
and then
copyright it
deletes
now.
Let's get in the car real quick. I got a thought on that.
Wait, so
Do you remember the days of Tumblr where people?
Of course I do.
Yeah, where people would just like harvest usernames.
I did that.
Yeah, just
Oh my
think of
God.
sick usernames, never use them. And I don't know what the goal was. Was it to wait around and find somebody that wanted it and to sell it to them? I know people do that with URLs.
Some people did do that. I think it was also just so that you could change your name to it if you wanted to and nobody could take it. I will not lie, there's a Tumblr account that exists out there that has like 100 offshoot URLs and I just hoard them like a dragon. I haven't used Tumblr since like 2017.
Well, the funny thing is that like I mean, I might be wrong, but don't have any belief that Tumblr will have a revival.
Yeah.
It probably will never have a golden age again.
Yahoo ruined it.
Yahoo fucked Tumblr. It was like they were like the Sesta Fosta before Sesta Fosta.
Your Bluetooth's off, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Let me just double check.
What's the plan right now? You want to go to Panera?
Panera. Oh.
Really?
Yeah, we can go to Panera.
Where do you want to go?
Well, Panera mostly is gross because it costs like $70 billion
That's
for
true.
like a tiny like pretend sandwich.
I'm just like...
We'll go to Panera.
No, I probably shouldn't.
Or
go to Panera.
Chipotle.
I bought an Ancestry.com membership today.
Hey,
On
good
a
job.
whim. It's expensive. You know, it's like $40 a month.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a monthly charge.
Yeah, it is now. I don't think it used to be.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. What a life.
Yeah, I got
It's probably
the
one of those
Instagram.
things where it's like a pretty like ridiculous price monthly, but you can pay a discounted annual fee. Is that what
Yeah,
it
I
is?
think it is.
Yeah. A lot of places do that.
I did a 6-month subscription. It was like that was a huge package too. You can do it for like 14 something a month, but they don't give you as much information. This one gives you
Right.
like all town records, like things that were uploaded by other users.
Dude, that's so sick. Yeah, like census records.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's good shit.
It's really cool.
I love researching dead people. And it's funny because so much of their information is lost.
Yeah.
And we all live under the delusion that we are like all like collectively a population of archivists, but we are not, man. A lot of
Yeah.
people think we're living through a dark age of information, and we very well could be.
The age of willful ignorance.
We very well could be. Only the popular will be archived. Just
True.
like all generations before us.
Huh.
It's like
Or the
there's
well-beloved.
it's not many, yeah, or the beloved.
I guess that's the same thing.
Not always. I feel like because like Frida Kahlo, was not necessarily like an icon in her lifetime, but somehow, some way, I would really love to know some more information on this that I don't have, but somewhere, somehow, somebody out there had to have preserved her work.
Diego.
And was it him? But he died too.
Yeah,
There's
but
a big gap.
their house is a museum, though.
Right, but I'm saying, like, who were the stewards of this information and those artifacts, I guess. Like,
After he died?
After he died, she didn't have children. Maybe he had children, I don't know.
I think they built their house with the intention of it becoming a museum. Like, they had a living will to have somebody be a conservator of their...
Oh, yeah, and I guess, and while that is probably true, I guess I was thinking in my head, like, how did that happen?
True.
What did they do? You know what I mean?
Like, what the specific steps are and who...
Yeah, like Talk Art, a podcast that we have the exact same format as, self call out, and did a really interesting interview with the owner or the man responsible for the estate of the artist Lucian Freud.
Really?
Grandson of Sigmund Freud.
Oh, you told me about this.
Yeah, and he was Lucian Freud's assistant throughout Lucian Freud's career, so he was like a studio assistant where he probably did everything from like washing brushes to getting coffee.
Yeah.
Transporting paintings. I'm sure he did. I think he was like just a general like art henchman type.
Yeah.
And now he is like I think owns all of Lucian Freud's paintings and stuff. That looks like a nice little cemetery.
It is a cool one.
But yeah, I don't know. And he fucking like, he's the reason, like, if the traveling Lucian Freud show that was at the MFA Boston, through the pandemic, that was like one of the many spoiled shows of the pandemic.
I know.
So things like that, it is his assistant making the arrangements to have those paintings toured and hung up at different museums around the world. It's pretty cool.
That is really
Cool
interesting
stuff.
to figure out how that goes down.
Archiving. We were talking about Tumblr that led to this.
Tumblr.
We were making some interesting points that I think that
it went Tumblr, Panera Bread, Money, Payday, Ancestry.com, archiving.
Oh, right. So we're on a pretty deep segue right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think just to double back pretty far. I don't know, man. I think that promotional things in marketing, social media marketing, personal brand shit is a bit of an underworld.
Yeah.
And I think that I have found it really suspicious and kind of eerie throughout the years that... Have you had this experience? I'm curious to know if you've had this experience.
Okay.
Where I feel like when I'm talking to people that in some way, for some reason, good or bad, are outside of artist circles. Maybe they're a consumer of art, or they like to go to shows, but they're not necessarily a band person, a music person, an art person, a seller of some kind, somebody who doesn't have a brand because they're just a person, a normal person. In my experience, I feel like for a lot of people, it would be kind of inappropriate and weird to talk to people like that about promotion and marketing. But when you're talking to other artists and musicians and people who are personal brand people are like theorizing and like making like interesting like strategies and like talking shop about capturing the attention of others.
Yeah.
I've met in many conversations like that. But I feel like people kind of don't like to... Like, people don't want to show their hand. People don't like to talk about it, and I think that is a big reason, one of the big reasons why there's so much toxicity in that. In like, small-time promotion.
Interesting. I think it depends on the context, because I think sometimes it can be a matter of respect. Like, if I'm at a market and I'm selling to someone, I don't intentionally avoid talking to them about the ways that I set up my booth or the way that I'm like trying to appeal to people. Like if someone asked me, I would just tell them. But I feel like I don't tell them that because I don't want to come off like I'm just trying to sell. Because a lot of the times I'm not. If I'm at a physical event or something, I want to... Or like Instagram is a good example too. Like sometimes people will say like, why did you promote it this way? You wouldn't reach as many people because it's something that's like maybe not as polished and it's more of like a personal sharing post. And for me, I think that experience is that it's like, it is good faction of it is trying to sell and make money, because that's how I make money. But I also just want to put my product out there and actually engage with people. So if I'm coming off too promotional, or if I'm admitting that I am marketing, they know that to some degree. If they want to ask me about it, they can, and I'll tell them. But if I just come off with that being my first foot forward, it looks like that's all I'm there for. So I try to avoid that.
Yeah.
So I think that there's a flip side to that too, where, like you were saying, it can get pretty toxic and people are intentionally trying to deceive. Like, if you think that you're, like, you know what, this is a weird example, but we were talking about this the other day. Like, the difference between understanding your psychology and, like, relationship attachment styles, and, like, getting into your head and your partner's head to kind of overcome, like, conditioned relationship dynamics that might not be great for you, versus, like, incel-y, like, psychological trick to make woman like you. Like, that's, if you're being a fucking freak about it.
How to get girls to kiss you.
Yeah, like, if you're doing, like, how to make someone buy your art because they're a stupid dumb idiot you can trick.
Chad.
Yeah, like,
male.
There's that version in advertising too. That's my point.
Yeah, I heard a phrase recently that, like, fucking blew my mind. That just, like, fucked me up a little bit in my head.
Yeah.
That I've been thinking about a lot recently. I forget who the fuck said this, and I want to say it might have literally been on the H3 podcast, but I forget. I forget, maybe it wasn't. I don't know who the fuck said this,
Another
but
podcast
somebody just said
by.
the best click, like, basically just said that everything is clickbait.
Yeah.
But good clickbait is undetectable.
Interesting.
You, like, everything you click is clickbait, but the best things you didn't even know that it was.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know, like, you know, do you know what I mean? Like, does that make, I feel like I'm explaining that shittily, but my point has been made. But, like, and I just think that's kind of, like, interesting, because it's kind of like you see it with like cryptocurrency and stuff right now with all the shit coins. You know, we've talked about that a bunch. There's literally, like, a name of a thing now is a shit coin, which is literally something that is known as a scam coin that a bunch of celebrities are promoting to drive up the price of it so that they can sell it all once everybody buys in. Huh. And it's, like, similar to that, where there are a lot of people will fall for that, but they have absolutely no idea that it's a scam because the promotion of it has been so successful.
Yeah. Interesting.
I don't know. Maybe that was a little bit of a reach of a comparison.
No, I kind of see what you're saying, though, because, I mean, we kind of touched on this in the NFT episode and, like, a fine arts world kind of thing, but I think it's really interesting to think about it on the small scale, like, local art level, that we keep coming back to this. We probably said this before. We talk about it together a lot, but clout really is currency. Like, if you make yourself popular enough, if there are enough people that listen to you or care about what you're doing, that means you have momentum on any project you want. That means you have listenership to your fucking podcast. That means you have people going to your Instagram, clicking through your ads. Clicks and listeners and followers, that shit equates to advertising, which equates to money. So having that kind of clout to make something big, if it's an NFT or if it's your fucking art project, that's creating monetary value in something that is an abstract concept that doesn't necessarily have anything inherent to it.
Right, and, like, it can be boiled down to it being as simple as, like, imagine if you just owned some, like, massive building in fucking the middle of a city. Like, those people sell advertisements on the sides of their buildings because there's millions of people walking by it.
That's true too.
Like, when you can create, like, when you are an entity that is either abstract, intellectual, brick and mortar, whatever it is, like, when you have an entity that is, for one reason or another, driving a shitload of attention at it, it becomes a fucking money machine.
Which is true. I think, just, like, narrow down my point a little bit more, though, I think what I'm talking about, which I actually I don't know if this is what you're talking about, because I just realized I made this assumption.
I'm not even sure what I'm talking about.
It's okay. To narrow it down a little.
I don't know what the fuck I'm saying.
I was talking about social media marketing specifically, because when you talk about, like, a building in the middle of the city, that has value because of the real estate. Like, there's something tangible there that you can say this has value because of this. An Instagram account, all Instagram accounts are created equal at 0 followers. Like, what the fuck? That's nothing. Same as a Bitcoin. Same as any kind of cryptocurrency.
Right.
But that kind of, the reason that an Instagram account or a fucking URL on Tumblr would be worth something is because people like it. People care.
It's like buying Fortnite skins.
Yeah. Or, like, buying someone's Tumblr URL you were talking about earlier. Like, why would people pay a couple $100s for, like fuckfest3000 at tumblr.com?
Wasn't
I have that saved on Instagram, by the way.
Literally own that.
Yeah, I own that. If anybody wants it.
Well, also, fun fact about what you're saying, too, is that the website OpenSea.io, which is a popular NFT trading platform, you can literally mint URLs on there.
Interesting.
Like, that is a thing already. Like,
Wait, what?
I don't fully understand it, but I know that if you go on OpenSea and you're logged in looking at the dashboard of NFTs and stuff, there's a section for URLs.
Are they NFTs, or you just can grab a URL and charge for it?
Well, the thing about NFTs that I think that this might be a part of, I just drove us to the beach.
Okay.
I don't know why I did that.
Fuck it.
I just figured I'd let you know because we were on a food mission and I forgot.
That's okay.
Okay.
I'm hungry.
All right. We need to get food. But, what I was saying is that a popular thing about NFTs is that they will often feature real world. Oh, no, they will also have real world benefits. Like sometimes an NFT, like Gary Vaynerchuk's fucking NFT VeeFriends, his NFT project right now, he just revealed recently that every single one of his NFTs is also a ticket to a annual convention that he is launching next year, where it will be only VeeFriends NFT owners.
Interesting.
Yeah, or I don't know. It's like the
That's
fucking.
That's kind of cool.
I mean, it's kind of fucking creepy if you think about it, because one of you probably couldn't buy one of those for less than like $100,000 right now.
Yeah.
So it's pretty strange. But
They do
people
things like that a
will
lot.
like grant access to things. Like there's a lot of NFTs that get you access to a Discord group where you get to like talk to the creators and other owners of the thing.
Yeah.
So I could totally see an NFT sale being like a picture of a fucking like monkey, and then it's monkey.com. You own the NFT, so now you also get the. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying.
Yeah. It's
Whatever.
like really high tier Webkins.
It's literally like billionaire Webkins.
Damn.
Or 100,000-aire Webkins. Shitbag internet people. God, NFTs are the sketchiest thing to ever happen, because I think it's either going to go down in history as like the beginning of like a technology revolution, or it's going to go down in history as like one of the biggest scams of the 21st century.
Yeah. And nobody knows, and everyone's just buckled in for whatever's going on.
Yeah, everyone's just like has put their money on something.
Yeah.
Well, not everybody, but just like idiot people like me that are involved in this and are like for some reason following all of it very carefully in the news.
It's interesting.
Why am I so interested in all of this? Why do I care so much? I don't know.
You don't need a reason.
I don't know why I care, but I kind of do. I just didn't know that you could be interested in currency as a theory until like the last year or two. Like I just didn't understand that could happen.
Huh. That's
like,
an interesting concept.
Yeah. That I don't know. And I think that there is a lot of math information that you need to have that I don't have to understand it more. So I think that there might be a bit of a ceiling for me.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, I don't know what that means at all. Anyway, this is stupid. But yeah, the promotional world.
Yeah.
Is that the topic of this episode? Promotion?
Do we ever have a topic?
I think that's a little bit of a theme happening here. Anyway, yeah, I guess we don't. We don't always have a topic.
It has been a bit of a theme.
We rarely do.
Promotion is a funny thing. We actually didn't talk about this yet, but we tabled at an event for the first time in a long time.
Yeah,
we were
dude.
vendors.
God
we actually
damn it.
vended together at an event for the first time, because the entire time that we've been hanging out, it's been COVID times. We've never tabled together.
That's true. We have not.
It was so weird, because it's been like probably fucking 2 years for me since the last time. I think October 2019 is my last market before the pandemic, because I had some stuff going on.
Mine was February of 2020.
That's fucked.
Like COVID in the news at the market.
Oh my god.
And I literally had the flu
at
the market, where I went thinking that I had a cold, being like, it'll be okay. I'll just suffer through it. It's okay. But I had to leave the market early because I was like, couldn't even like stand anymore, and I was like pale and dying.
It's so funny to think about that, because like as you're saying this right now, I'm like anxious that you're
You
saying
like want
this
to
out loud.
like punch me in the head for doing that?
I'm like, what is
why would
wrong
you do
with
that? You
But that was
fucking
so
asshole.
Normal? Like, do you remember fucking like 2 years ago calling into work and being like, hey, I have a fever, and they're like, okay,
And they're like, you
Did you
fucking
get your
kidding
shift
me?
covered?
You piece of shit.
figure it out, bro.
You have a fever? Fucking liar. But yeah. So yeah, I did that. That was not good.
I was gonna
That
say,
was my
though,
infamous end up in the hospital because of the police
that
at my
was the
house
same
with the
thing?
flu. That was
Oh,
the
God.
same flu.
You talked about that on the podcast before.
I said that. Go check out the episode titled Brian Huntress to hear that story.
We really went deep with the interviewing on that one, huh?
That was like episode 5 or something.
Like,
So
fuck it, I'm here.
So I think I was still operating under the delusion that no one was going to hear what I was saying.
You forgot you said that too, and then I told you like a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I did say
You were
that
like, "What?"
publicly on the podcast. Hell
It's
yeah.
a funny story.
It's not the worst thing I've said online, probably.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably not the most personal thing I put on the internet.
God.
But,
I was gonna say, though.
yeah, I feel like I jumped in there. I
That's
feel like
okay.
you were saying something.
I just thought it was funny because I feel
Oh.
like most of my art making and branding stuff has been for physical events, and I was really upset at the beginning of lockdown because I didn't know how to transition to online only, because I was one of those people that was on Etsy for a while and I did Facebook Marketplace for a while, but I just fucking hate it and I like in-person selling better.
Yeah, you're doing really good with Instagram advertising too.
I appreciate that. I have not for a little while because I deleted my Facebook, but maybe I'll be back. But it was really weird to do a vending event again and be like, this is not my wheelhouse anymore. Like, I'm completely rusty and I don't know. It was fun overall, but it was definitely weird. Like, I didn't have any of the things that I normally have. Like, I haven't used my Square Reader in like 2 years.
Right.
Didn't have my merch prepared. Didn't have a basket of merch just from leftover shows. I had to make it all from scratch.
We both forgot all of our business cards.
I forgot a whole bag of paintings.
Yeah.
I had like 50% of the stuff I was supposed to have.
I brought 2 wet oil paintings
Yeah, that
that
did
got
happen.
oil paint all over everything.
That did happen.
Don't know why I thought that was chill, but I did.
But we had a tent. That was pretty sick. We never have a tent.
Yeah, I kind of got into this really odd space, I feel like, through probably 2018 and 19, and maybe a little bit into 2020, where my primary world, like all I cared about, was in-person things.
Yeah.
I didn't give a fuck about the internet. I was like, well, I did. Like, I've always loved to put stuff online and to make stuff digitally. Like, that's a fun thing to me, even then. But, like, everything was, like, the main goal of everything was to get people, like, get to the gig.
Yeah.
It was to promote shows or to promote a whatever or promoting a physical product. Like, it was like,
Yeah.
yeah, and obviously the pandemic fucking, fucked that in the head. Like, pretty hard.
Fucked it in the head.
Fucked in the head. But, like, yeah, so that happened, and I think I got kind of, like, fucked up about, like, in the beginning, because I realized, I was like, all right, at one point or another, it kind of obviously hit me that I was like, all right, fucking shows might not come back for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, once that, like, oh, it'll be done in 2 weeks shit ended.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is actually completely altering the universe and zeitgeist permanently forever.
Yeah.
Because I was like, all right, we'll just do online stuff. That'll be cool. We'll just make content online, and that'll be great. But I hit a wall where I realized that I couldn't really do that. Like,
Yeah.
I had a thing where I made a TikTok account where I was only posting song videos and song clips.
Really?
Yeah, I was doing that all through the pandemic for 4 months into it.
When did I miss that?
I didn't
The
really
fuck?
tell a lot of people about it. I was trying to just it's still up. It's fucking embarrassing, honestly. I should delete it. But, like, what was I about to say? But no one was watching them. It felt mediocre. It felt bad. I wasn't able to sell a lot of stuff online. Like, everything was just not, like, it just wasn't working. You know? Are you really hungry? I can see it on your face. You're, like, about to pass out. But, I think I kind of went into a bit of a crisis because I realized my entire digital strategy and all of my content and everything that I was doing and making was all about to get people to a place. And when I lost that, I feel like I lost, like, this, like, vital fuel and vital goal to everything that I was doing. And I think that's, like, been a huge part of 2020 and 2021 for me. I feel like 2020 was just me wrestling with it and not accepting it, and 2021 has been me just kind of finding my footing a little bit better.
Yeah.
with it and kind of accepting it. Because I kind of think, maybe not with art, but I think at this point in time, I absolutely 100% do not need shows and events to promote art.
Yeah.
But in 2018 and 19 and everything before that, it felt like a vital component.
It's so funny too because
That guy looks just like Jeffrey Epstein.
oh my god, he literally doesn't. There's just an old man.
He looks like Jeffrey Epstein.
No, he doesn't. That's someone's grandpa.
Okay, I wish I didn't say that on the podcast. Sorry for making everybody think of that.
Oh my god.
I guess he kind of didn't.
No, he didn't at all.
He totally did.
Not even remotely.
He had the same head shape.
Okay.
All right, okay, so where should we get food? Should we go to Panera?
I don't know.
Let's find... We're like...
Don't ask me that. I'm
We're-
hungry.
I'm going to go to Panera. We're like in...
I don't want Panera.
All right. We also, just for the listeners, just for our die-hard homies that love us, we've also decided recently to try to stop constantly revealing our location
Yeah.
on the show.
So we realized that's a not great idea.
Yeah. And for all of our close friends that might be listening, let us know. Let us know how we're doing. Locals, do you know where we are? Have you known where we are this whole episode?
Yeah,
We knew
please tell
we
us.
told us we told them we were at Wampatuck.
Fuck.
But maybe they don't know where
We're not there
we are
anymore.
right now.
We're not there anymore.
Anyway, whatever.
Well, you said we were at the beach.
Yeah, but they don't know what beach.
They know approximately how long we've been driving.
Yeah, so
Based on the DMs we've been receiving, I wouldn't be surprised if someone GPS figured out where the fuck we are.
yeah, we're like trying to like. Yeah. Anyway, shout out to anybody here from TikTok.
Woo!
TikTok listeners.
What's up, guys?
There's got to be at least 30 or 40 people listening from TikTok.
Speaking of promotion, that has been really cool because I think a lot of our listenership was really local when we first started doing this because it was people that knew us from our personal social medias. Now we have listeners from overseas, we have listeners from different countries.
Yeah,
It's really neat.
There's pretty much always a couple listeners that aren't U.S.
Yeah.
It's primarily the United States, but there is pretty consistently people from random places.
Yeah. Over half of, last time I looked at the analytics, over half of our overall listens were not from the US.
This is an interesting threshold we're at that, you know what? I think this could be a very bold initiative step we could take right now, where maybe
Alright.
we could just talk openly about our analytics right now. Would that be funny? 'Cause, like, that'd be kind of interesting because we were just talking about how it's kind of toxic, how nobody wants to do that. Everybody refuses to talk about strategy and analytics in a bold, naked, and vulnerable way. Nobody will do it. Not even us right now. It's kind of, maybe, anyway.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with it on principle.
Turkeys!
Oh my god, that one's limping.
Oh yeah, that's an injured turkey.
Oh, poor baby.
Well, he doesn't look to have like an injury. Maybe he had an injury and it healed.
It just feels funny.
Hmm.
Yeah, pass the turkeys.
Well, okay.
What do you mean by bold? Because I feel like we've done that before.
Well, we don't really
I'm
talk
not
about...
opposed to it, but now you're freaking me out. Or is
I
it-
don't know
are you gonna
why.
do something
I didn't
insane?
mean to make that sound so dramatic.
Are you gonna do something totally fucked up right now?
Yes! Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. No.
Like, what do we
No,
have
without,
to
I don't know
hide?
why. I made that sound too turnt. I didn't mean to be dramatic.
Just do it. Say what you gotta say.
Well, I don't even know. Now I'm all anxious. I don't know what I was going to say.
Oh no.
Well, basically, I guess what you were just saying, that is true, is that we kind of transitioned a little bit from possibly only appealing to people that knew us personally into making, getting other people in the door that don't know us.
Yeah.
And, because, I feel like our vision has changed multiple times
Yeah.
for the podcast, where it started off as basically a shitpost and then it kind of transitioned into maybe wanting to kind of almost like a community service
Yeah.
in a way, where we wanted to do something for the city. And maybe, I don't know, it was a little weird 2 weeks. But then we kind of shook a lot of that. We don't want to do that. We don't not want to do that. It's nothing.
It is a big part of what we do.
It is a
but
huge-
It's not the only thing.
Right. And I think that for me, in my head, I have always wanted, like, my goal for this has been to not just be local and to try to get content like this from Boston, about art, about our art, our perspectives, and make it appeal to anybody, not just people from Boston.
Yeah.
And if I had to guess, I would say it's probably, if somebody really wanted to specifically get in deep about Boston culture and art and stuff, this probably would be the wrong podcast to listen to. But I don't know, man. Like, I just think, like, I don't know, man. Like, one time I heard on WBUR, our, like, Boston's NPR whatever, called in and said that they were from Alabama and they only listen to WBUR because it's, like, the best, like United States news coverage, and it was the Boston one, so they listened to the Boston NPR from their state online. Cool. And that just made me, I just thought that was really interesting because, like, I don't fucking know what I'm saying. I'm all stressed out now.
Don't be stressed out.
But I guess the reason I said shout out to our TikTok listeners is because we have been using TikTok, or, you know, trying to use TikTok to bring people to the podcast.
Yeah.
And it's medium worked.
Yeah. It's interesting because, like, something that if we're going to call ourselves out a little bit, I think that we could be putting a little more push on Instagram again. Because 2020 was all about Instagram.
It was the year of the gram.
We were really hitting it home with Instagram advertising, looking into our analytics, making posts to appeal to those analytics, trying to figure out what people wanted from us and mirroring that back to them. And then that became a whole lot of work, and we realized that was bullshit. We didn't want to do that anymore.
Well, it was an interesting time, and I feel like it's almost changed, because I remember over the pandemic, you could boost a post on Instagram for $20 and have like 4,000 people interact with it.
Yeah.
Like and comment and shit.
Well, I think,
like, you could, like, explode a post for no money, and it doesn't feel like it's that powerful anymore.
Well, I think that had to do a lot with the culture of the time too, because I don't know if everybody feels this way, but I've always used social media pretty heavily. Like, it's always kind of been a thing that I had to be aware of because I use it too much sometimes. But during the pandemic, it was the only way to communicate with a lot of people. Like, either texting your friends, calling your mom, or being on Instagram or Facebook. Or Zoom, but, like, fuck that.
With my mom.
So
That was the melody of that song.
I know what you
What's
meant.
my
It was a
problem?
reference. I got it.
I couldn't remember, like, how it's sung.
But there are just probably a lot more people on the platform to see your ad. Where now, I think it's probably changed a little bit. Because, like, for me personally, I deleted a lot of my social media and narrowed down my personal accounts. Like, I just use it for promotion now or to get information. Like, people, like, I just got Ancestry.com, so I brought Facebook back to look at birthdays. But I'm deleting it again soon.
That's why.
You caught me.
I caught you earlier because I referenced something that I saw on Facebook and you knew what I was talking about. And I was like, wait a second.
That was an old post, though. I saw that a while ago.
It was like 4 days ago. Shout out to our previous mushroom guest, Chris O'Grady.
Chris has posted about Chicken of the Woods more than once, because I saw that before I deleted.
I don't know about that.
I definitely think that's true.
Do you like what the posts that I've been making on Instagram recently? A little bit of a change of subject. Where I've been just using the posts of our previous guests to post in stories about them and their art that they're making.
Yeah, I think that's good, because it's amplifying their voice versus our editorial.
Yeah, I just really like the idea of, like, I feel like I know that a lot of the artists we've interviewed don't really have a lot of connection together and probably don't even know each other. Did you see that squirrel running and bouncing?
I did. It was really cute.
It was hopping. But a lot of the guests that we have, they may not know each other or have a connection together, but to me, they seem like a collective of people.
Yeah.
That are all connected to me, that I feel like a weird bond with. Like, I'm like, hell yeah. Well, you're part of the team.
It's really interesting because this might be kind of weird if anybody's listening to this that we've interviewed before, but like, this really is how it feels. Like, when you study an artist and, like, really, like, when I was in college and I would fucking read, like, 400-page books about, like, Frida Kahlo or something, you really get into the reasons that they're making their work, and there are so many questions that you want to ask them or things that you would say. And I feel like this podcast, it's given us the ability to talk to contemporary artists and just ask those questions. That would be fucking, like, weird if I don't know, we've talked to people about their relationships to their moms and like why you make art. What was the first kind of art you ever made when you were a child? Like, can you imagine if someone came up to you at a market and asked you that? creepy as fuck.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like that connection is because we're getting to do this like deep research and getting to see people's work. Recently, while we've been doing interviews, people have been bringing little like drawings or prints or sculptures and showing us their work and really explaining it hands-on. And it's so cool. It's such an honor to be able to do that. But it's also like we're really, additionally, it's like we're really researching these people. And we do research into what they posted before the interview. We keep tabs on them after. Like, it kind of does create, even if we're the only ones with that perspective, like a kind of collective. Or actually, no, we're not. Anybody that listens to our fucking podcast probably thinks that too. So
yeah, one of these days we'll have, if we have an insane amount of money and listeners or something,
a podcon.
We'll have a convention. It's a big
cool.
party where we tried to get everybody interviewed.
And we'll gift everyone an NFT.
Yeah, we'll give everyone an You know what I was thinking? It would never work because we definitely don't have enough traction to do this.
What?
But if we did, it would be such a sick idea. And I would do this if we had like enough people. Like,
we don't yet.
Not yet, but in the future, if NFTs are still a thing,
okay.
Wouldn't it be so lit to drop an episode that as an NFT?
Can you do that?
Yeah, I'm sure you could. You could make an audio NFT. An NFT is literally anything.
How much does it cost to make an NFT?
That is a very abstract question. That is very hard to answer.
Why the fuck is that abstract? What's like the baseline? Like what?
It can be anywhere from like $50 to fucking like $300.
Let's just make a cheap ass janky NFT.
Well, no. That it's not. I love you.
Me too. What?
So basically,
is that not a good plan?
No, it's not good or bad. It's not. Basically, to put simply, you have to pay a fee every time you mint something, and that fee changes all the time.
But
so the price of the fee is like the price of like fucking oil or lumber or something.
We talked about that before. The gas fee.
Yeah,
so
that's exactly what it is.
It's when you mint it.
Yeah, you have to pay a fee when you mint something.
So we'll just mint it at a good time.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Or just have a shitload of money and it won't matter.
We'll wait for good turnip prices, and then we'll do the thing. I've played Animal Crossing. I get it.
It's so funny because we got a random message from somebody who listened to our NFT episode and like hated everything we said and was like, "You guys are speaking from a place of ignorance about NFTs."
Which, to be
fair,
fair,
don't know what you're talking about.
We admitted that. We were
did.
Googling it while we were on the air.
All right, you know what I would really like someone to tell me?
What?
Just somebody who says things like that to people. How about we sit down with this fucking, all right, cryptocurrency master, and why don't you explain to me everything that happens in the computer and with the coding when you swipe your debit card? What happens there? Where does the money come from and go? What happens inside the machine? How does the bank process it? How does all that happen?
Why is a chip safer? Tell me that.
Tell me any of that information and I will respect your opinion when you tell me that I'm ignorant when I talk about this shit. Because you don't know what the fuck is going on either. With
That's probably
anything.
like a completely unrelated thing though. That's like
I just think it's like shut the fuck up. We're all using YouTube and Google to learn about this shit. There's no fucking there's no fucking like primary source of like education for, I don't know.
Dude, there will be though. Imagine that.
There probably is.
That will be a degree.
There's probably classes about the shit at like MIT and stuff.
Do you think you can go to college for internet history yet?
I guarantee that is an elective at some like random like expensive school.
I would pay like $10,000 out of pocket to take that course.
I think
I wouldn't. I don't have any money.
I think my sister, when she went to college, I feel like it could be a privacy thing to say which one for some reason. But like when she was in college, she took a class on Tolkien.
That's cool.
Yeah, like the Tolkien language.
I took
like
a
I think it was
Sherlock Holmes class.
like a linguistic Tolkien class. You took a Sherlock Holmes class? Was it like a literature class?
Yeah, that was actually that was an error. Actually,
it was a massive fuck up.
I thought I was getting into a forensics class, and they just put me in the wrong one by accident.
Oh.
And then I was just in like the Sherlock Holmes class.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, you thought it was like a forensic investigation class?
Yeah, I thought it was a science elective.
How did you fuck that up?
My advisor fucked it up. And then
You had to take
No, the funny part-
investigation, police,
the funny
forensic,
part,
criminology class.
I didn't figure it out until after the withdrawal period either. We're just reading fucking Hounds of Baskerville, and I'm like, this is fine, I guess.
And you're like,
when
this is a weird way to study criminology.
I was joking around with someone
Shouldn't
in my
we
class.
be studying American law, not British?
I asked someone why. I asked someone jokingly if we were going to do blood spatter investigation, and they were like, well, that might be in the next book. And I was like, what's going on? What's going on here?
Yeah.
And I realized I was in crime and detective fiction, like
Nice.
6 weeks in.
Nice.
My whole college career was a series of me being apathetic about major mistakes.
Yeah.
But also being on
just,
honors.
Just had no perspective, man. I didn't. I'm not talking about you, but like I didn't. I had no perspective. I just really, yeah, man. I don't know, man.
I've talked so much about my college experience on the podcast.
It's a very, I don't know, man. I think that's like a really good, positive thing to talk about because I think there's a hunger for that. Because like, I think it's kind of like, long story short, I once read a weird like part of a book about the history of Nantasket Beach and Hull.
Yeah.
And in the 1900s, there was a massive like pickpocketing problem there.
Mm-hmm.
And I might have talked about this on the podcast before, but one of the main things they said in the book that contributed to the pickpocketing problem and made it continue for so long is that nobody was reporting the pickpocketing.
Oh.
Because everybody was embarrassed that they were pickpocketed.
Oh, God.
Wouldn't you? Like if somebody reached into your pocket and stole your money right off of your ass pocket and you didn't even know?
Report that shit. I would be so mad.
Well, I think it was like like people didn't want to be the guy that got all their money fucking stolen at the beach. Like some dumbass. So it continued for a long ass time.
That's
Anyway,
stupid.
but I just think there's something to that with having a terrible college experience that like, I don't know, we're not really a part of it because we have like this like weird outsider mentality, but like there are probably a lot of people that are like trying to be professional, shiny people in academia and in the professional world and blah, 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 that probably don't want to feel like I don't know, like a dickhead or like they didn't know what they were talking about.
Well, I think
Maybe
another
we're
thing-
not, I don't know. Maybe I should speak for myself. Maybe like, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. Whatever.
I think it really depends what you're studying too, because if you are somebody that's going into the corporate world and your goal is to get a really good job at a company that exists, that college seems perfect for that because it fast tracks you to those connections. But if you're planning to become a freelancer after you graduate, why the fuck would you pay all that money and just put yourself in the hole before you begin?
I don't even know, man. I think people don't. I don't think anybody. I'll tell you what, as well. I think for most of my life, probably, or definitely when I was in college, I 100% did not know what freelance even meant.
Yeah.
But I'd never asked that, probably. I had absolutely no idea what it meant to be a private contractor for any type of business, art related or not.
Yeah.
So this feels wicked negative now. I think it's because I'm hungry too.
I'm really hungry. Are
We're
we
right by
going to
Taco
get
Bell
food?
and KFC.
Ugh.
Which?
What do you mean,
Neither.
which?
All right,
Panera
wait.
Bread.
We'll discuss this off the podcast. Oh yeah, Panera. Okay, I forgot. Sorry.
hate me.
Going to Panera.
Just kidding. Sorry.
No, I love you.
Me too.
We're showing how we actually talk when we're not recording right now.
You know what's actually funny that I was thinking earlier? I don't know if we've said I love you on the podcast ever. We've said it like 4 times. this
I've
episode.
said it on an episode before.
Oh, really? Did I say it back?
I think we've said it. Fuel level low.
Oh.
I've
We're in
said
Brian's
it.
mom's car right now.
Hey, don't stop revealing personal information on the podcast.
What the fuck? How is anybody going to track us down with that information?
It's not about tracking us down. It's about privacy.
Alright.
Anybody who drives any kind of nice car could hear that we are not in one of our cars right now, just based off of the dash sounds.
Guys, the air
and
conditioner is on.
Shh, stop. Just stop talking about the car. You're pissing me off.
Oh my god. I want lunch. Wow,
Yeah,
those are
I can
really
tell
cool.
you want lunch because you're making fun of me.
I make fun of you anyway.
You make fun of me most when you're like hungry and kind of like on edge.
No, that's
Your
mean.
sense of humor changes when you're hungry.
Just mean.
No, but in a funny way.
That's good. How does it change?
You make fun of me. You're only acting confused because we're recording. Anyway,
Alright, fair.
all right, let's
True.
let's wipe the slate clean here.
Alright.
Let's clean slate this shit. We're almost at Panera. I'm fucking kind of stressed out. I'm pissed off, man.
We're almost... How long has this been?
53 minutes.
How fucking long... We usually make solo episodes about that long, right? How long are our episodes? I haven't recorded in a month.
I think some of our shorter ones are about this length. I don't think we've made an episode that's shorter than like 50 minutes. I think, yeah, we definitely have. Because we've made a bunch of like recorded content that was like only 20 or 30 minutes long that we haven't released. We've done that like many times. That we
Someday we'll make a
keep trying to
master
make
post.
plans. Yeah, we keep trying to do that, but it's like just hasn't happened yet.
It's just weird to do that because I feel like my 2 weeks ago self was a dumbass. So I don't want to...
Oh, yeah, dude.
I don't want to blast that shit.
Right.
It's stuff that my 2 weeks ago self didn't even approve. Probably terrible.
Yeah.
I am hungry.
Yeah. The more negative and on edge I feel, and the more hopeless and like mean my opinions are about like the world and life,
Is there a
the more
Panera
hungry
here?
I am probably. Yeah.
Hell yeah. You want to go to
Don't
Barnes &
reveal our location. We're trying to get into the habit of not saying our location every single time.
It's hard to do.
It is hard.
I'm not good
you're
at
right.
censoring myself.
This is the first time we've ever tried to do that, so cut yourself a break.
I'm really glad I've never committed like any major crimes or anything because I don't know how to not talk about stuff. I'd be really bad at it.
Me, silent.
Major?
You gotta just shut up. That's what you do.
No.
No, man. I haven't committed any like crimes. I committed crimes when I was a teenager,
Does
but that
count?
doesn't count.
Whatever.
It counts sometimes.
Depends on the crime.
Anyway,
I just almost drew on my shoe with a Sharpie, then I remembered it's not fucking 2010 right now. And I would regret that immensely. I want to do it so bad, though. Do you remember how it felt to use a Bic pen on your sneakers? Like the texture of
yeah,
that?
I do. I used to
It's
draw
nice.
on my jeans all the time with big
Used
pens.
to? Used to?
No, I would draw like entire faces and shit on my pants and stuff.
Oh, you should.
I don't really like doing that.
I do smiley faces and stuff
I
now.
went through this thing that I actually, yeah, but that's drawing a smiley face on something isn't whatever. But like, I went through this fucking thing a while ago, like in maybe 2016 and 17, where I started getting really insecure about looking dirty and looking like kind of like shitty.
Yeah.
And because at that time I would constantly have paint on my pants and have shit written on my, you know what I mean, ripped stuff. Like I was always ripped and paint and had stuff on me, and my hands were like fucking like black with dirt.
Yeah.
That's just how I looked all the time. But I started getting insecure about that, so I stopped like doing, like I stopped like wearing shitty, trying to wear less shitty stuff and have less paint on me, and I don't want that paint on my hand. I don't know. But I'm not insecure about that anymore. Like, I think it was a self-esteem and place in the world type of anguish.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I'm a loser. I don't know. I'm never going to amount to anything.
I get that.
I'm like making fun of that problem right now. But like, that is kind of like, that's like, we were talking the other day about luxury problems, man. Talk about a luxury problem of not worrying about your place in the world.
Yeah.
Jeez. Anyway. Yeah. That would be a really interesting topic for an episode, is just like candidly discussing self-esteem.
That would be interesting. We could do that. We've done that before.
Maybe
We've had
if we-
episodes like that.
Yeah, but I mean with more like with some real intention with the subject.
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
We could do that.
Self-esteem as like an artist, or like, I don't know, because you see it all the time. People who want, like, it's like it's not so much a thing that much in like contemporary life, but it's been definitely a thing for like a lot of boomers would relate to this, where like the idea of being an artist or a musician or a creative is like a joke career. Now it's very fashionable, but a lot of older people, that would probably be like a loser thing to do.
Well, it's interesting too, because while it is fashionable, there definitely is... It isn't necessarily the most feasible thing for everybody, and there is still that kind of undercurrent of like, You're an artist.
Like
So you're unemployed.
Yeah. Sometimes I think a lot of my family or my parents just think or hope or like suspect I will eventually move on.
Yeah.
Or like figure, like, you know what I mean? Like that I will figure out a real direction to go in.
Yeah. Which, like, I mean, I don't know.
Which I get. I mean, I don't know, man.
As an artist, if I had a kid that decided that their main plan was to be an artist, I think you probably would be a little bit concerned just to make sure that they had, like, health insurance and shit. Like, it's rough. It's not easy out here.
I'm getting there. I got, like, this is a bit of an embarrassing subject that I will eventually be a big problem for me. But I turned 26 in the next few months. And I'm in a very fortunate life position to have insurance through my parents, like many. And that will be ending very soon.
Uh-oh.
What will I do? I literally don't have a real job.
What do you mean? You're not a podcaster full time? This isn't paying your bills?
You want to know how much TikTok pays for the TikTok Creator Fund?
How much? I forgot you're in the elite.
I'm in the elite. I am the bourgeoisie.
You're probably in like the 77%.
Yeah.
TikTok users.
Yeah, I have serfs now. Like I have like peasants that I'm responsible for since getting in the TikTok Creator Fund. Anyway, if you get a video, okay, you know what? The scary art video got like over 1 million views, and that probably yielded alone $5 or $6.
It's pretty good. It's a coffee.
A video with 5 million views generated like $6. I check it like every week or so, and just like it refreshes and tells me it's like you have earned, and it like every single time it goes up like 20 cents.
Oh.
Any musicians that have music on Spotify will know that when you check your like DistroKid bank account balance, it says like $16 after like 3 years of having music up there. It's like
that's
literally
how the Creator Fund is.
It's no money. It's nothing, man.
Damn.
Shit. All right, it's time to eat some food. And if we kid ourselves and pretend that we're going to start recording from this episode again after we eat, we won't. We never do.
But I feel like we just left that on a really negative note.
What was the negative note? Oh, that money.
We have no health insurance or money and we're going to die.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure I could get on like Mass Health. Isn't that what everyone does? You get on Mass Health?
Probably. Yeah. I'm still on my mom's insurance for now.
Is that like fucking terrible insurance to have? I'm probably going to have like a world of hurt. Like
I've been on Mass Health before, and I think it covers like a decent amount of things.
I would totally just be one of those like psychopaths with no health insurance. But
No.
but I have to be, I'm on medication till the day I die, dude. Like I can't stop taking mine.
Yeah.
I don't have a thyroid.
Is yours really expensive?
I don't know. It's like $20 every time I pick up my prescription, which is like
insurance?
Yeah, and that's like a kind of a lot. That's like, I mean, it's a little bit annoying. It's pretty a pain in the ass to pay them that fucking money. Piece of shit. Fuck you. Pharmacy.
I was on one insurance,
Piece
and
of
then
shit.
my mom got a different job and we got a different insurance, and the birth control that I'd been taking, I was taking one kind of birth control like a couple years ago and switched to a different one, and then wanted to switch back because the first kind worked better for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then they told me when I got there that it would be $600.
What the fuck? Fuck.
I was like, I'd rather have a baby. Like, no. It was for a 6-month supply, but still, holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that.
That was with insurance. Just a different insurance plan.
Yeah, so that'll be bad. Shout out, there's a podcast that could relate to ours a little bit. They're called Beyond the Studio, that me and you have listened to a little bit of in the past.
Yeah.
And they're a really interesting podcast that's a podcast of like behind the scenes of being an arts professional or a full-time artist and business owner, where they talk a lot about the actual, like I listened to one episode where the person they were interviewing was talking about the struggle of trying to get a mortgage as a full-time artist, and her husband was like also some type of like had some type of entrepreneurial job that was
really stressful.
Yeah, and they said people they were like it was like almost impossible to get a loan, and like anytime they put in a bid for a house, it was like, yeah, right, dude,
Like, and nobody would, like, they couldn't do anything with it. I don't even know if I'm using, like, the right terminology to describe their situation.
I think you are.
But, like, it's like that Bo Burnham song where he's like, do returns always diminish? Did I say that right? That's how I feel all the time. Anyway. Oh, God, it's time to eat, man.
Yeah.
I wonder if any of our listeners relate to our struggle of just forgetting to eat for, like, 70 hours and then just being like, oh, fuck.
I wonder if you can tell.
I'm like, do I have COVID? What's wrong with me? I'm dying. I'm mentally ill. And then you're like, wait, I'm dehydrated. And I need the sandwich.
Yeah.
And then you feel like you were reborn.
I wonder if you can tell from the way that we talk on this podcast that we're both neurodivergent people. Like, do you think other people are like, huh, you have ADD?
Maybe. I don't know. I think you kind of have to, like, have, like, you gotta be...
Everybody's a little crazy.
No, I'm saying, like, to do what we do, man, like, to be able to just sit here and just, like, talk about fucking nothing and to change topics every, like, 8 minutes less.
Oh my God, yeah.
You gotta have, like, a little bit of...
Can you imagine being, like, a linear thinking person? Like, having fucking notes? If we had, like, bullets to go down?
See, this podcast, if we
I would literally be so miserable.
So that's, like, kind of an interesting thing, is that, like, there is a bit of a creative decision to the fact that we don't really do any editing or writing or scripting for this at all.
Because we don't want to.
It's like we don't want to, but also, like, I'm not sure if we could.
Yeah, that
like,
would
if
be
we
really
literally
overwhelming.
chose to, I think that we couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Excuse me. That was gross.
Yeah. You're
Sorry.
honestly disgusting.
No!
Sorry, I'm just kidding. I didn't mean that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, I could not, like, I
Yeah,
really
fuck
respect podcasts that, like, because I love, like, I like, one of our friend of the podcast, Black Market Therapy, Joel and Matt, they, if you listen to a lot of their, they do, I feel like they, like, whatever, so they talk a lot about, on their episodes, about some of the, or they have in the past, about some of the reasons that they put so much work into that Joel put so much work into the editing and the music and stuff, and, like, I think there have been times in my life where I just straight up did not appreciate sound engineering at all.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was, like, some blowhard, like, dumb thing to do. But, like, I don't know, man. I think that these days, like, I have changed my tune. I think that there is, like, so much, like, beautiful artistry and craft that can go into just as something as simple as editing a podcast.
A nicely put together podcast or really, like, balanced sound is really pleasant to listen to. I'm not knocking the final product. I just think, as a creator myself, that would be... I think there's a thing that happens with projects where, like, the idea is really cool and you might really want to do something in a certain way with any kind of project, not just recording. And maybe you're capable of doing it, but the work put in versus the final product, like, ratio is just off.
That's,
like, it would just not be worth it to me to do that.
Right. It would be like imagine if every time you did a drawing or, like, a sketch in your notebook, you, like, cut it out and matted it and framed it and, like, hung it up every single time you drew something.
Look who you're talking to, dude. That's one of the biggest struggles of my art making, is that I have to withdraw myself from spending, like, 10 hours on every single thing I make. Like, I can't just doodle. It's an active effort to try and get myself to do that.
I'm saying, imagine if every time you made art, that was you were mandated to mat and cut and frame it every single time.
Yeah.
You, like me, I wouldn't. If, like, you told me that I was never allowed to paint again unless I personally handcrafted a frame and, like, all of that shit after finishing it every single time, I would probably stop painting. Yeah. Or I would just have to fall in love with the art of framing.
Yeah.
Which I'm not, because I don't know anything about it. I'm just that work to result ratio is, like, a really important thing to consider.
That's why you really have to enjoy the kind of art that you make.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people boil it down to, like, if you're an artist, making art is fun for you always, blah blah. And,
or, like, if you love your job, you'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah, that's bullshit. Everything is work sometimes. Everything is work sometimes.
It's kind of, it's like, I think that raises an interesting thing interesting point to me, is because, like, if you love what you do, you never work in a day in your life, is wrong, Because if you love what you do, you love the work.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you're not going to work or that it's going to be easy. It means that, like me, like spending a shitload of time painting and studying art and like that craft and the discipline of painting is something that I actually love and actually gets me really, really excited to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I legitimately love doing that, and I will probably do that until I die.
Me too.
But if I did, like, I mean, I don't know.
And like, for example, podcasting, we were talking about doing it with that kind of method. Maybe isn't for us, but the way that we do style it, I think a lot of people will be really overwhelmed with like bouncing between different topics and going into it with no plan at all, just recording it, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, we don't post it. Like, just continuing to try and making it work on the fly. That's kind of a really chaotic way to go about it, but I thrive on that.
And you know what? It took a lot of work for us to get here.
Yeah,
we
had
like,
some failed attempts.
Yeah, it's honestly, it isn't easy to just fucking let it rip.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like,
super stressful sometimes.
It can be really stressful, and it honestly isn't an easy thing. And I think that's why a lot of people don't do it.
Yeah.
Maybe there are people out there that feel the 100% opposite of what we're saying right now. Yeah. Where that this would be absolutely unfeasible, and that writing it would be the only option.
That's what I was going to say. Like,
that's probably pretty much the same point you just made.
You have to play to your strengths, bottom line. And I don't know. I don't remember what I was going to say.
And you know what? Maybe one of these days we will have like a beautiful soundscape and like editing and music. But for us to do that, I think we would probably have to have a third member of the operation.
When we get a sound guy.
Yeah, bro, shout out if there are any people out there listening that are like...
Does anybody feel like doing a ton of labor for free? Help us out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I think I would be interested in working with somebody like that, you know, as long as in the sense that they were doing it as like a creative pursuit, and they cared about our mission.
Yeah. And
they were like down to get lit.
Hell yeah.
And you know, so yeah, hit us up, bro. We would fucking get fucked. Let's get
fucked.
Let's get fucked up. Just kidding. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. But
my brain is soup right now.
Your brain is soup?
Mm-hmm.
Souped up? Super awesome?
Down.
Souped down. All right, guys.
What?
We're going to go get some soup.
Ew.
I'm not going to order soup at Panera.
What the fuck?
All right, guys.
Full offense if you order soup at Panera.
Full offense. All right, guys. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody we've ever interviewed.
Shout out to anybody who's eaten a hot dog in the last week.
That's me.
Me too.
I have eaten a hot dog. Yeah. Wow.
You ate a hot dog last week?
Yeah, I did.
Why?
Why did I eat a hot dog? Apparently the same fucking reason you ate a hot dog.
I haven't eaten a hot dog in a while.
What the fuck do you mean, why did I eat a hot dog?
Why did you do that?
What?
We turn it off.
All right, shout out. Boston Art Podcast.
Yeah.
Bye.